never die!
Have you ever been sat watching your favourite action film in wonder, looking at a fight between two characters? Like, how the hell did they pull that off? I mean, literally, how the hell did they do that? Well, to get started with, I feel the number one thing people think about immediately is the choreography of it. Digging through the internet, I found an interview with the great Braun McAsh, which if you don't know who he is, this guy has been a professional fight choreographer since 1976, with a career rack of a whole 120 stage and television productions. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that this guy knows his stuff. Around the 2-minute mark, Braun McAsh proposes that he states a certain question to himself when he first begins on a scene. What's the story of a fight?
If they're not very good at it.
The first thing as a choreographer is, what is the story of the fight? Because the story of the fight has got to relate to the overall narrative of the script. It has to become a venue for developing further the individual characterization. So what I'm looking at when I'm choreographing a fight is to use the movements of the fight as the equivalent of spoken lines of dialogue. They're an opportunity to reveal different things about the character, like what will the character do or not do depending on the circumstances.
In similar words, Mr. McAsh is stating here that in order for a fight to be good, it has to carry the overall narrative of the story. But instead of talking, the characters are fighting. It's a conversation of skill on an emotionally conveyed scene. Emotion. How do you convey emotion in a fight? Now, I can imagine when you think of emotion in a fight scene, you probably think of the sadness or, like, the rage. But what about the happiness? How do you convey these emotions in such a way as a fight scene? Now, I'm going to talk you through that using these two examples that I've picked out.
Come on, you pansy!
Victory is mine! We thank thee, Lord, that in thy mercy...
Come on, then!
What?
How about you?
You are indeed brave, Sir Knight, but the fight is mine!
Oh, had enough, eh?
To start off with, you can see that they really set the tone fast, with the scene beginning with the king hopping into the scene frantically, making it already unserious and humorous. The fight itself is more dialogue-led than fighting, with the choreography complementing the comedic fight. Looking further than that, though, the loud grunts the Black Knight makes along with the light taps breaking off the man's arm works with the lines delivered between the actors. In comparison though, coming to the Obi-Wan vs Darth Vader fight, for the vast majority of it, there really is only a few lines of dialogue excluding the end of the fight. You can see the characters struggling for the edge to win it. You understand the narrative being carried and that this is a battle of equals, in a sense with a tense atmosphere. Now, to add a final element in this video which is very important, that I have not talked about yet. It's known as colour theory. Now, you may have heard about this in areas of artistry such as photography and how it's used by various designers, but it's also very critical in TV and film. Coming back to the Obi-Wan vs Vader fight, the use of colour theory is very present where Obi-Wan's blue represents the more logic-based, calculated and hopeful side, whereas Vader's red proposes to the audience that this is a villainous and evil person. Now, of course, a lot of this is just common sense if you've watched Star Wars and just, well, you can read the room. But to go deeper, for one, Vader's suit is black, representing dread and doom. two qualities that represent the character. When Obi-Wan tries to bring Vader back to the light side, and he does for that one moment, in that one moment Vader is lit blue, the same as Obi-Wan's blade, bringing up the idea that he could come back from the dark and into the light. But as soon as he speaks again and declines it, the villainous red comes back across his face, and then surrounding both the characters, until Obi-Wan flees into the shadows. Now, this colour theory could also be applied to the Monty Python scene, if you look hard enough. The hero king is in colours of white and gold, representing loyalty and purity, where the knight is in black and red, the colours of doom, rage, and unpredictability. Which is what happens as seen. Now, what does this do overall? This is really just another way to carry the narrative in a scene, whether it be fight-based or not, but it can especially help in those kind of scenes. This alongside other techniques such as camera-based movement or background-based movement, depending on what the director wants to create. In overall, a good fight scene carries a narrative throughout, where instead of dialogue, it's hand-to-hand. Personally, approaching a fight scene, I would take a lot of care and time to discuss with the director what the narrative is for the scene, and communicate to the actors how to convey that narrative and emotion through their stunt, and take many sessions to practice the choreography on it. This, alongside using the element of colour theory in the set design and their clothes to better bring it to life. Thank you for listening, guys.